What up? What up? We're live. Late Night Live, episode 28. I believe this is 28. Might need to double check that. But hey, we're here. Ace of Jacks Media Grounds. Chris, what's up, my friend?
Hey, we're here for another Friday with this nice little heat wave we got going on.
Ooh, it's still hot.
Yeah.
Dathan, 8-Bit Gaming Legend. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Good evening, class. Hope everyone had a good week and ready for a relaxing weekend.
Yeah. Travis, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Just hanging in there with the heat. Yeah, the air conditioning helps, that's for sure, and the fact that I'm not stuck out in the garage doing a podcast also helps.
Right. Yeah, no one's doing that.
Right, but yeah, I'm not doing well. Can't complain.
We got a jam-packed show. I thought this was going to be a slow week, but man, it seems like there was a lot of stuff happening. So, number one, we're going to talk about all the stuff going on with college football 25. I think I picked a good week to do it as the thumbnail here. So, got a lot of stuff around that. I got more video on the Nintendo World Championships. A new pinball is being announced. Some Turtles games, some new fighting games, a new controller I want, and some bad news about Xbox that dropped on Wednesday or Tuesday of this week. So might be some good discussion there. So hopefully you guys are good with that. Did you guys play any games last week? Chris, did you play any? I saw you were streaming something on your channel.
I was. I did finish Still Wakes the Deep, Still Wakes the Deep. Finished that, and then I ended up building a workbench with a folding miter saw table, so I didn't really have a whole lot of time to play any games with that. But yeah, no, there's been a lot of gaming news this week, as well as other things, so that's definitely
Dathan,
one of those.
All right, since you disappointed us, we'll move on. Dathan, did you play any games last week?
I did a little bit. Surprisingly, I went back to Sea of Stars because I haven't finished that. I only got about halfway through. Luckily, when I paused from playing it a few months ago, I remembered where to go, so that was good. But it's been a very busy week work-wise, and I helped my in-laws move today, and my anniversary is tomorrow. And
Congratulations.
I'm ready for college football, and I'm ready for Nintendo World Championships, and I'm just ready. So that's where I'm at.
It's going to be a good week.
It is going to be a good week. Yes, good week.
Awesome. Travis, did you play anything last week?
I didn't. I had life get in the way of everything. I know, but I finished the Andor series.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I moved on to actually last night I watched The Arrival. Was it 1997 movie, I believe. Every once in a while I go, okay, what movies did I miss? And I look at
with
people's
Charlie
best
Sheen.
lists. No, it had Amy Adams.
Wait, you said 1997?
I think it was 1997, was it not? Am
No,
I
it was
way
like
off on the time?
That was 2016.
Yeah,
Oh,
2016.
well, hey, there you go. Yeah, way off. Way off on the
Yeah,
time.
way off.
Yeah, because I guess Amy Adams wasn't really a thing in 1997, was she? She didn't come around until like
Who directed that one?
2004. You know, Eric knew the name of the director.
Is it the guy? I think it's the guy from Dune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Villanova.
the guy from Dune
Yes,
and Dune
you are
2.
correct.
That is right. So yes, I watched that last night.
Cool.
Yeah, but other than that, so that's sci-fi, you know, kind of fits within the thing. But other than that, no, life got in the way. So unless you consider hunting or scavenge hunting for a used car in the Portland area that is reasonable and not 200,000 miles, then I didn't really get around to doing much gaming.
That's just like Grand Theft Auto.
That might be a Steam
Well, that
game.
actually I think has been a problem with a couple of the cars that I checked out. Was they might have been a victim of some Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Yeah. Here it's a little crazy from time to time.
Did you guys see that clip? I think I sent it to some of you guys. There was a clip about a guy, and it was like fake or whatever, but guy was going into GameStop and he was returning his copy of Grand Theft Auto
The Vice City.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a whole discussion of whether the game was retro and what the game is actually older now. The difference between when the game was released to now to when the game was originally set is actually longer. So it was like a whole discussion like, oh my God, this game is really old. It just makes you feel bad.
But I think tonight or tomorrow I will fire up the gaming laptop and try to plow my way through the rest of Harry Potter and then dive into something else.
Yeah, cool.
I think that's kind of the problem, right? Is like I'm sure you guys have experienced it, where you get to a level of a game, to a certain point of a game, and you're like, you know, I just kind of want it to be over because I've been there and done that with this, and yet so other things kind of seem appealing because if you're going to play a game, you're going to go back to that one, but at the same time, that allows other things to get in the way, and then it just makes it harder to kind of start that thing back up because you've already, you know, spent a week, 2 weeks away from it. I feel like that's how the Harry Potter game or the Hogwarts Legacy is finishing up for me here. I think it can be over pretty soon, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show. Seems like they dropped a lot of content for that right up. They're gonna try to compete with College Football 25 here. But the other game I've been playing a lot of is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Been going back into that. Man, that is such a good game. Like, I think my first playthrough was on the 360. I didn't have it on PlayStation 1. But, man, I feel like I'm going through it much faster than I originally did. And I just beat... I just beat Richter tonight, so I'm in the inverted castle now. So I'm starting to go through that.
Is that still? I remember my buddy. He played that game, many times. But there was a bug or a glitch that you could not 100% the game. It was like 99.8%, and there was like a small section of the game on the inverted castle where you couldn't get to it. And it was a glitch. It was on the PlayStation, so I don't know if because it's been redone multiple times, I think, since it came out in 96, 97. He did everything, but he could not get to this one little square on the map, and so you couldn't 100% it.
Yeah, I'm playing it on the Castlevania Requiem set. So hopefully, I guess I should look that up, see if you can. I assume it's got all the trophies, and you can platinum it if you get. I think one of the trophies is you have to get 200%, 200.6% completion to get it. So we'll see. We'll see how far I get. Let's get into it. College football. So
come on, this got that meat for you, baby. Get in there. Everybody eats around here. Everybody eats.
If we want.
What an exciting time to be a college
football fan.
This gameplay first look of college football 25.
Now, Michigan looks pretty good.
On one side, if you follow in Twitter, if you follow college football at all,
I have issues with the rating system. I'll say that right now before we get going.
No, just get right into it. Yeah, I have issues too.
I don't know why they are so infatuated with Colorado.
I knew you were going to go there.
With their stats.
What is Colorado rated at?
It is shocking at how the number one quarterback is Sanders from Colorado, and the one thing that I was shocked was his obviously there's tiers or there's attributes that they rate you on, and his awareness was 98, was a 98, which was, how many times did he get sacked last year? 632,000 times. I mean, how can his awareness be that high, and he be the number one quarterback, and then I forgot who else, the other person, the receiver for Colorado. I may be getting this wrong, but
Sanders
he was
and I don't even.
Hunter.
Hunter.
Right. He's also super high, like on top of the list, and I'm just, for a team that went 4-8, and I don't know what they're looking at. Are they seeing the same stuff did they just rate it on the first 3 games of the season that they had, and that was it? Like, oh, we'll just call it good.
The only thing I can think of is that they want people to play the game, right? And for whatever reason, Colorado is hot right now, which is I don't get either. Like, yeah, they won their first 3 or 4 games, and then they ran into Oregon last year, and then they stank it up. And I guess there's they just had the Big 12 conference preview or whatever last couple days.
Media day.
Yeah. They were picked out of 16 teams. They were picked 11th or it's not up there at all. But the number one quarterback in the game, like you said, is the Sanders kid.
You guys are overthinking it. Coach Prime just paid EA.
Maybe he did.
I mean, it's that easy. I mean, he's got money and he cares about image. You know that if anybody's got image and likeness, it's him.
Even Coach Prime said that that he was wondering why that he wasn't the overall the best.
Yeah.
Both him, they were why are these guys not number one? Period. These are the best receivers and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked.
He was in that office, being loud as all hell, dropping money everywhere it would go that anybody'd look at him, and they said, "Can we just get this guy out of here? Just make this kid, number one."
Dathan, did you see someone actually rated these players on their speed, how actually they ran in last year live, and they compared that to the ratings in the game, and they're way off. So like you say, I don't know where they're getting. It's just they're using an eye test or something. And
that's why I bring up how did they have scouts at every single one of these games? Because like I said, they started out the season 3-0. They were super hot, and they were talking about, they're going to go to the playoffs, and who's better than the 2019 LSU Tigers or the Colorado Buffaloes of 2023? And they were good, and then you saw what happened when they played Oregon. It was a college football team playing like a middle school team. They got destroyed, and ever since then it was just nothing. And the fact that the quarterback has such a high awareness ranking, and he just got sacked and mauled like every single game. I think Oregon sacked him 10 or 11 times just in that one game.
Both teams play hard, my man.
Maybe when you slowed down, maybe what they did was they slowed down the sacks. And if you saw an oh no look on his face as he was getting rushed, and then they said, okay, that's offensive line problem. He was aware he was going down. It wasn't his fault. Maybe that's where they came up with the metric.
I mean, it's possible, but you should have at least the quarterback awareness to, like, I'm going to get sacked. I need to throw the ball away. I need to try and make a play. I need to try and do something here, but instead,
I doubt it. I mean, I'm just guessing. I really think that his dad just paid.
I mean,
but like if you're an NFL team, and I feel like a lot of the ratings got that Madden mindset on them. Like if you're an NFL team, how early are you even at this point? Like we haven't seen this season yet. How early are we even going to see Sanders get drafted at? Like I don't even see him going in the first round at this point, right? So
I mean,
that's why it's bizarre that he's the number one quarterback in the game. And then the other thing is, I tweeted this earlier, and go follow me on Twitter if you're not already, the _garage gamer, shameless plug. But Sports Illustrated came out. It was either Sports Illustrated or ESPN. I guess the number one person on the watch list for the Heisman is now Oregon's quarterback. It's not the Sanders guy at all. So,
well, I think I brought it up. I think, Ryan, you and I touched up on this a little bit through the week. I'm really hoping that, as week to week, as the games are being played, like those rankings and everything are adjusted like they are in Madden.
Right.
Were they in previous NC? Well, they wouldn't be in previous ones, right? Because name, image, and likeness wasn't a thing, so it didn't matter, right?
No.
Yeah, so this is the first year, so they should be based off Madden stuff, or else people are going to be sorely disappointed.
There's several game modes, I will say. So there's going to be your standard team versus team here, but then there's your my team mode where you get to pick cards and you get to have players from every team on your team. So you make your own team, right? Yeah. So there's that mode. And then there's going to be a mode where you can make your own dynasty and have different people play it. And then you're going to have a mode where you're one guy and you're going to see if you can get like drafted in the NFL or whatever. And you go through the whole season. And I saw like one of the clips, like you're getting texts from your coach on, do you want to cheat on this test to get ahead? It's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's kind of cool to put in there. And I just tweeted there's some video, some guy like this is what Alabama players do or whatever, and he's driving drunk on the side of the road. Like, whoa, they really put that in there. Like that was fake. Yeah. But the game, I think the game looks really good from everything I've seen. It's just some of the rating stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be into the my team stuff. But the game looks really looks polished.
Didn't the 2K series, when they did NCAA college football 2K, didn't that have the player mode where you could play as one player and just try to work your way through?
I'm not sure. I don't remember playing the 2K college. I don't even remember it. Was that like
Xbox times, right?
Yeah, was that like Dreamcast time back?
I don't know. Did they do a 2K college?
I thought they did an NCAA college football 2K, right? Just for a brief period of time.
I remember the cover of the '96. I think Scott Frost from Nebraska was on the cover of that one.
Yeah,
I think that was Dreamcast or just regular PlayStation.
See, and I would have played it on either the 360 or the Xbox, maybe both, if it had came out for both.
I don't think it came out on Xbox 360. I think that was just strictly NCAA.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the one you're talking about, I'm pretty sure that was the regular Xbox. As well as PlayStation and Dreamcast.
Yeah, because I liked the 2K when it came to NFL 2K. So when it came time to pick a college football one at the time, I think I went 2K as opposed to the EA Sports version of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that there was the mode where you could just be a player and just try
Fresh
to
off a
play
year
in
where
all
Texas
of
put
that
the entire
stuff.
nation on notice.
Here's the other video I have, and I want to skip ahead to where the Ducks are, because this is the first video I've seen of the Ducks. If I get through Alabama. Here we go. Change that. Yeah.
Top 5 quarterback overall. And now
Well, it's cool that he's wearing number 8.
Country surrounding him. Tez Johnson returns from a 1,000-yard receiving season in 23.
So that's the same number that Marcus Mariota used to wear.
Number 8.
He clocks in at 90 overall. The defense is not far behind, led by Jabbar Muhammad at a 91 overall grade. Jordan Birch,
Autzen Stadium looks great.
At 87. The folks in Eugene should be salivating.
Now I'm curious if I looked on.
This is not your
I tried to Google it. I tried to look on everything. The songs that teams that some of them have, which ones have been omitted from the game who didn't get the license. I know there are 2 for sure. I know Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech was omitted, and so was Jump Around for Wisconsin. Those will not be in the game.
It's going to be interesting. I'm sure someone will do a deep dive on exactly what's in and what's out. We'll see. Like, I'm hoping they just add like little. I'm not too worried about like the big songs. I mean, if that's not in there, I'm okay with it. Like, I just want like when the Beavers get a third down, are they going to play the chainsaw?
I think they have in the past, right? They've had the little stuff there for the.
I don't remember that in the one 10 years ago. So
is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
I remember it was getting pretty good, you know.
Hey, Dathan, your camera went black on me.
It did?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Maybe you didn't want to watch the Georgia shit.
Oh, I can see everybody.
See, and I wonder if the reason why, what's his name, Dylan Gabriel, jumped up to the number 1 Heisman odds-on favorite is because of the fact that Phil Knight has essentially given an unlimited nil budget to Oregon.
Well, Dylan Gabriel,
and they got a commitment from the number 1 wide receiver in Decorian Moore. So, and this was just a couple of days ago. They got commitment from him to come to Oregon and play.
Well, they still got to play. So, recruiting's one thing.
I know it's just anytime there's early talks of like the best players in football league and everything before a season started, it's always got to be based on moves happening within the teams and everything. And if they think that, you know, the best wide receiver is now going to be with one of the best quarterbacks in college football, that's obviously going to give the quarterback a better opportunity to throw the ball to someone who can catch it. And so it probably boosts up their standings and everything. But once the season actually starts, that's when you get to see where these people are.
Yeah, and they said the people that usually are the odds-on Heisman favorite usually don't win it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the kid from LSU won it last year, and he was not picked to win it last year, Daniels. So I know we're talking on sports now, but it's relevant. They said kicks in the game are harder than they have been in previous years, which I'm fine with. Kicks and field goals, kickoffs.
Is it going to be a quick time event where you have to push 6 different button combinations as quick as possible and make sure you match them up?
Hopefully not. Looks like there was a little bar at the bottom, and you have to hit it right in the middle.
See, and those ones never seem as hard as they make them out to be. Like that looks like it's based on how long you hold the button for and then release it. That little meter bar for them catching
Yeah,
you.
yeah. There's a pass meter. Oh, can I take a
So,
screenshot of that? Oh, I had it.
And then it was NCAA college football 2K 2 and 3. So the last one they released was 2003, which was on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Well, and I remember that being a better game than the EA version, but for whatever reason,
I think NFL 2K. Those are the ones I played. NFL 2K, NFL 2K1, NFL 2K2. Those were really good.
Yeah,
I played
they
those
were
on
they were really
Dreamcast.
good. Absolutely.
I remember the Vikings used to be really good
Mm-hmm.
and play them in that game. Well, Dathan is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to like. We don't have to go too much farther. Like, I just want to keep talking about college football here until he comes back. So,
I mean, odds on, I think the Beavers are going to win it all this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got a 50-50 chance of taking the pack too. So.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
there.
at least they can take half of the money there. You know?
Yep.
Man City, go Ducks. Yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be a weird one this year to see like a lot of these West Coast teams that have left to go join like the Big Ten and some of these other conferences.
Are you guys gonna buy the game? That's what I want to know. Like, are you gonna get it?
I don't have a console to play it on. I'd have to go get a console, right? Well, no,
Go
you
get
said
it. Go
would
get
come
one.
out on Switch, right?
It's not coming out on Switch.
Not coming out on Switch. See, so I'm hosed. I thought, we after last week's show, later that weekend, I was thinking about it, and I thought I remember actually buying a console to play EA Sports game because they weren't out. That was your option, right? So I was actually thinking about that. I was wondering if people still do that. Like, because we were talking about if they just kind of make DLC versus actual, like, releasing new games, even though it's kind of the same game, just barely tweaked.
Yeah.
And that used to be a thing. That's why they always redid the game, was because it drove console sales. So I don't know. I would not do that because I would need to hijack a TV. Well, I have a TV for it, but still, I don't know. I couldn't see myself putting enough hours into it to make it worth it. And then they announced, the thing is now, and I don't want Sony to hear me say this, but with the fact that they're taking PlayStation exclusive games and porting them over to PC, it would really be, I would just be buying a console to play this game because everything else should be coming over for me.
Yeah, it's
there we go.
What I mean,
I think I'm gonna pick it up. I just don't know if I'm gonna pick it up on release day.
Yeah.
Because I've got the consoles to play it.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
Buy it. Pick it up.
It's certainly. I think it would be fun to play it.
Dathan, can you try to convince these guys to buy it?
Are we still on the football discussion?
Yeah. We kept talking about it till you left.
I mean, what's there to convince? I mean, we think we've talked about it for on the stream for 2 months straight, at least for 5 or 10 minutes every week.
Exactly.
And it's a no-brainer. And like I said, when that collector's edition was announced, I ran to GameStop and pre-ordered that as soon as I could. The only thing about this collector's edition, I don't get it until the 19th. So it is a few days later, and everyone else will have it. But I probably won't dive in until a week from Sunday is when I'm already set aside like 7 hours of the day to just sit and play that. But
yeah, I got mine pre-ordered through GameStop, but I'm getting it shipped to me. So
did you get the collectors? The collector's edition?
I think I've got it reserved. Looking at GameStop's website, it's such a mess.
It was terrible. It was terrible because I did the homecoming pack that comes with the jersey and the locker and all that. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to GameStop. So if they ever announce stuff like this, and you want to go to GameStop right away, give it about an hour or two, because I went there and the lady had no idea. So I had to kind of go on her computer with her to show her which one, because there was maybe 30 different ones, because there were ones that had like PlayStation credit and Xbox credit and all these different things. And but as for trying to convince people to buy it, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer at this point. Even if you just want the base game and nothing else, I mean, yeah, just go with that.
Okay, go buy it. All right, next topic.
Yes.
Okay, there's another game that's coming out.
Speedrun against players from around the world in the Nintendo World Championships NES Edition game.
Good week, you guys.
Compete for the best times in a variety of memorable moments from classic NES
titles. So, do all of us have a Switch, right?
Short challenges that can be knocked out in no time.
And I've
already... Travis, you need to get this one, please.
Bike? What is that one?
Take on boss battles.
Yeah, you can play Zelda.
And clear entire stages. There are over 150 challenges from across 13 different NES games.
Let's go.
You can play them as many times as you want to beat your personal best.
Who's gonna have the fastest time here playing Kirby?
Watch a sample playthrough showing the route and clear conditions.
What's going on, Biggie D?
If things don't quite go your way,
Biggie D, are you gonna get this one?
To give you another shot. Keep in mind that the clock doesn't stop though, so you'll still lose precious seconds. You can also retry challenges instantly.
I already can tell you right now, like, I'm probably not very good at ice climbers.
Your best run.
I think this will be fun, so that every week we compare
test your skills,
have the best scores, or just send like a screenshot or something.
We could do that.
We'll pick a couple games, and whoever if that's your best score, we'll take a screenshot of it and send it to you, and you can post it, something like that.
Well, and hopefully it'll show like leaderboards on your friends list.
Online modes.
That's what I was wondering too. That hasn't been addressed yet.
You're gonna pass on this one?
Weekly challenges.
I was talking to Samantha Azir the other day. Like, are you gonna get this one? Because like in her last video, she's got like a Kirby shirt on. Like, Kirby's all about this game. Like, no, I don't have it. I'm not getting it. Like, what?
After the event, you'll see
hopefully I can get her on the show again soon.
Or where you place among those who share your birth year.
Oh, it looks like she's moved back.
She is back in Oregon now. So, I'm trying to give her a little time to get acclimated.
She had posted a video about her game.
Yeah, she brought all the hot weather back with her from Florida.
Against the ghost data of 7 players from around the world.
Oh,
this looks awesome right here, playing against all these other players, and doing the couch co-op too is amazing. Like, I'm seriously considering buying another Pro controller so I can do more of this with my family. So then they can't say that, oh, you got the nice controller, because that's why you won. Like, all right, here's another one.
Outside of challenges, you can select an icon and your favorite NES game to create a profile, or meet certain conditions while playing to earn in-game pins, which you can then display.
Okay,
show the
new Zelda.
You're made of, with a profile
the one you play is a Zelda.
Yeah.
That one doesn't come out for a couple months, man. This one comes out next week.
Looking for more ways to play? Ignite the spirit of competition and go head-to-head with up to 8 players.
So who's making
in party mode?
Is this Nintendo?
Nintendo, but yeah, another company they licensed out
in themed challenge packs
to develop it.
But it is official, so it's not just
Who will reach the top when the competition comes home?
And I hope, seeing Metroid here, man, I hope they do a SNES collection. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh yeah.
You'd have me more on the SNES stuff as opposed to the Nintendo stuff, because at least as a kid I played a few SNES games at people's houses. NES stuff, like nothing.
Digital pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
So you guys would school me in all of these things because I would be brand new trying to figure them out.
The base game, if you just want the base game, guys, only $30. If you want the collector's edition, it's $60.
And how many NES games does it come with?
NES, yeah.
Yeah, how many?
What did they say?
Well, they're not full NES games. They're just like mini challenges for every game. So every game has like 10 different challenges or something like that.
Right.
Or more.
Okay.
Biggie D trying to get back, and Link's Awakening remake still haven't finished it. Yeah. All right, got another big Zelda fan. I like the NES cart. Yeah, wouldn't that look nice in your little arcade there, Biggie D? Anyway,
that's the one I've got ordered, and it's supposed to ship on Thursday.
The gold cartridge.
Right now, I'm scheduled to get the Japanese one too. In the Japanese one, you get the Famicom controllers with it. So we'll see.
Did you get the Famicom one and the US version one?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see when they show up. Like I said, I think I'm with you. Like, I'm spending a lot of money next week because we're getting that, and then we're getting the college football special editions. Like, I'm really trying not to buy anything right now. I wonder. Do you see that stand? Like, I wonder if that would work on a normal NES game. Like,
I don't think so, because I don't think there's a board in the bottom of that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it's just hollow.
I wouldn't want to damage the board, right? The game board. But it's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Biggie D, did you see this one, brother?
Hey everybody, it's George Gomez at Stern Pinball.
Stern Pinball is freaking announcing another variant of their Godzilla table.
70th anniversary tribute to the King of Monsters.
My
Godzilla
God.
was born in black and white, so it's only fitting that we honor that legacy with this striking colorway.
You guys like Godzilla, right? It's such a good pinball game. The more I play it, the more I fall in love with it. I love the multi-ball on it. There's like a little shot right in the center, and you go right toward that, hit it 3 times, and it'll kind of drop like into like a funnel kind of thing. I don't know what it's called, contraption at the top. And the way they designed it, it's really good. And then there's a lot of different stuff like you can do, like you can start to fight different monsters. It's just a really enjoyable pinball game. Like, yeah, there we go.
Are available at our current premium model pricing.
Biggie D doesn't understand the color. It's very similar to the Elvira limited edition.
Or the Walking. Didn't the Walking Dead do a black and white version too?
You might be right there.
Art blades and all the rest. But wait, as they say, there's
Andy's Game Room. How you doing, sir? It looks pretty cool, but I wouldn't trade out my current Godzilla if I owned one. Yeah.
King of Monsters.
I don't know.
Trade it out for it, but I do think it looks cool.
All Godzillas. So whether you choose the 70th anniversary black
how much do they want for it? It's only $9,699, guys.
That's chump change for you, Chris.
I know. I mean, the show is sponsored by somebody out there, I'm sure.
Maybe by Stern. That's what we need.
I wonder.
Sponsor it, then we can all have one.
I mean, with the last 2 months, we need to get EA to sponsor this show with, college football.
They'll probably start blocking us, dude.
That's gonna happen next week.
So we'll see.
Coach Prime heard me talking trash, and he's gonna get EA on us.
I want Stern to sponsor us.
Yeah, I think so.
But hopefully this will be at Next Level Pinball Museum. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. I know they got a lot of other stuff coming all the time. Next, we got more, guys.
Father? Father!
Turn down the volume.
Come on, guys. What do we do now?
There is a new Turtles game releasing next week. This is the game that's on Apple Arcade. I think we've talked about this one before.
Yeah.
It's coming to Nintendo Switch. I don't see it's coming to Xbox or PlayStation quite yet. And they haven't announced a physical edition. Saiyan Spirits doesn't like my soundboard. Sorry, bro.
Your brothers. Your pathetic fool of a father. We're gonna come get you, Sensei. Nothing's getting in our way.
That was embarrassing.
I think part of the reason why a game like this is coming to Switch and not the Xbox or PlayStation 5 is because the Switch, the way the system is set up and everything, there's a lot of phone app games that have been ported over. So there must be an easy way for them to do that.
Well, they can port it over to Switch, but they can't port it over to Xbox or PS5.
It may be easier for them to do it for the Switch. Maybe they don't have to do a whole lot of adjustment there. I don't know. But if you go into like the eShop on the Switch, there's way more phone app ports of games on there than there are on the PlayStation 5 or Xbox system in their digital.
I will agree with you there. Yeah, that's true. All right, Biggie D doesn't think this is a good game. All right. Well, Biggie D, guess what?
So, guys, thought that after beating Super
There's another Turtles game coming out.
Is this based off of that movie Mutant Mayhem?
This is based off the movie. It's so funny. Like, I think Shredder's Revenge was such a good hit that now everyone's trying to do a Turtles game. And sorry, the video doesn't look quite very crisp right there, but it's kind of garbled.
Oh, it's potato quality now.
I think I'm looking forward to the other game more than this one. But this one is coming out on Xbox, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Steam, I believe. Yeah, all of them. Oh, PlayStation 4. Yeah, it's Steam. Coming October 18th. So they already had the arcade. We already had the arcade Turtles game. That big one come out this year. And then we're going to have these two other Turtles games. It's going to be 3 Turtles games this year, you guys. How crazy is that? I like Mutant Mayhem. This one looks like budget licensed Wii games from back in the day. Yeah, it's a little more kiddie.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Moving on. You guys are a tough crowd. So, I guess they're making a new Double Dragon game. Did you guys see this?
Huh.
I think my thoughts on this is I don't know if I like this style of graphics for Double Dragon. I think they need to go more retro.
I got major Tekken vibes from the trailer.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because there's only the one shot in that trailer where it looks like he's, you're fighting a group of people. The rest of them look like it's a one-on-one fight going on. I don't know.
Coming 2020.
They should have had Robert Patrick there as the villain instead of whoever that guy is.
Right. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's a weird art style and weird design for the the two guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a pass for now. It's not coming out till they still got a while to work on
They
it.
got a long time to fix it. Maybe they'll hear us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. This game just got a little music. Karate Kid.
This one looks more like Double Dragon than the last one did.
Yeah, it does. And it looks like Shredder's Revenge to me, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then are we starting to see a revitalization of beat 'em up games? Is that what's happening?
Until they don't sell, right? Then they'll move on to redoing something else, I guess.
Yeah.
920.
Get to the text adventure games.
Oh, that'll be next.
Yeah.
9/20/24. I think again, Shredder's Revenge was a big hit. They made a lot of money with that one. I think all these developers, publishers, they're trying to think, what do we have that we can make a video game of? Oh, yeah, we got Karate Kid. Well, let's make one of that. That'll sell really good.
Well, pixel art is timeless, saying spirits, but I think it's probably a cheaper development cost for a lot of these publishers too, to be like, hey, if you got an idea for a pixel art beat 'em up game, we'll give you some money to do it.
Maybe.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Like, Dathan, aren't you playing a game? What's that? Sea of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think that was half-assed, right?
No, I don't think it was.
I'm not saying half-assed. I'm saying that it's definitely not. You're not going to tell me that Sea of Stars cost them $100 million to make.
Well, neither did this game either. But
that's what I'm saying is that the return for a game like this is probably better for a lot of publishers than something like Grand Theft Auto 5 style game.
Yeah. And then I'm all for these smaller kind of games. Like, if you want to have a big AAA game like Grand Theft Auto, great. It's take them 20 years to make it. All right, well, I guess we're gonna wait. But these are the kind of games that are perfect for us to snack on until then. So,
and then they'll just keep releasing the same game for the next 20 years too.
Yeah. And I know we've also talked about it too. There's a G.I. Joe beat 'em up that's coming.
Yep. And Wrath of Cobra.
Right. And then there's the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger beat 'em up that's coming. So, yeah, maybe we're getting maybe I don't know if we're getting spoiled, but I'm good with a lot of just Shredder's Revenge and what's that other one? Not Final Fight.
Streets of Rage
4. Yeah, really good. Anyway, all right. Hardware side. This comes out next week or in 2 weeks.
Here's your reminder that the Hyperkin Duchess controller goes on pre-order July 15th.
Yeah. I think I want that, you guys. I love that controller. It's not the 360, it's the original one. It's not the big Duke one. And it's wired, so that's the biggest gripe about it. Biggie D says Shredder's Revenge was good enough. I feel you, yeah. But July 15th, that's when this goes up for pre-order. And I'm getting it. I'm totally getting it. I love his little video he makes here.
Here's your reminder that the Hyperkin Duchess controller goes on pre-order.
That's right. Leakrian says the Toxic Crusaders beat 'em up game is coming too. I actually have the poster for that. show and
Didn't
tell
they
time.
have they had the demo at PRGE this last year, right?
They did.
That's what I thought.
Oh, do I not have it here? Oh, I'm missing it. Oh, here we go. I got it. Yeah. So maybe this is the game to get. I love anything that these guys do. This is RetroWare. The back of this has like a Nintendo Power. I guess I got it upside down. Really cool. And I don't think Toxic Crusaders has really had a good video game release.
They had a game. It came out for NES back in the late '80s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't think I know that they did have one.
Yeah, well, you probably own it, don't you?
I don't think I own that one. I think that. Oh, maybe I do. It's either. I always get that one confused with Swamp Thing. I think I don't have.
You don't have a graded copy?
No, I do not.
All right. Did you guys see? So the bad news I wanted to talk about with you guys. They are increasing the price of Game Pass. So what is it now? It's $16.99. It's going to go to $19.99 a month. For Game Pass Ultimate, and there's going to be several new tiers. I guess there's going to be a tier where you don't get day one Xbox games anymore. So maybe that's one of the cheaper tiers. But seems like what I saw, people going crazy on Twitter on Tuesday or Wednesday, just losing their mind that Xbox is trash again. And someone pointed out, like, really good, like, after that presentation, like, oh, we're so happy with Xbox, man, they're doing so great. Oh, and now they're back in the dumpster again. Like, they're bringing the prices up. They said they wouldn't do it. Now they're doing it. Like,
well, and it's I saw a lot of people commenting on the whole thing, and then you look at their history and they're like, oh, I'm so excited for the $70 game on day one, but paying $20 to have access to a library of games, no, I can't do this. And it's like the hypocrisy in these people is just like, okay, yeah, I get it. The $20 is kind of, it's something that some people aren't going to be able to pay monthly, but at the same time, you're okay with $70 for a game that could be complete trash, and maybe you play like a couple hours and you're like, I'm so disappointed in buying this game.
Right.
So I don't, and then there's some that it's kind of like, is it the introduction of tiers is what's got some people upset, because with the cheaper option, they said there won't be any day one games. It could take 6 months to a year for those day one games to become available on that tier, but they're not given an actual time frame. So maybe that's what some people are really upset about, and instead they're just kind of like, oh, these prices. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, $20 to have access to day one games and like a library of games versus $70 for one game still seems like a much better price to me than going out and spending $70 for something like, say, Kill the Justice League Suicide Squad game, which was utter trash.
Agreed.
You know.
So I can't remember the last time I paid regular price. I use cdkeys.com, and you can get 3-month subscriptions for $22. And I've been using them for about 7-8 years. So I'm sure the prices will go up a little bit, but if you just hunt around a little bit, you can find these deals all over the place. They're all over online.
Well, and that was the one thing that I did see on there that I was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks, because 13-month stacking is kind of a limitation, especially if I find like a really good deal during one point in the year where it could get me like 3 months for $25, and then I'm like, yeah, might as well spend $75, get me 9 months or whatever, and say I've already got 8 months stacked up, I can only add up to 13. After that, it won't let me stack anymore.
Yeah.
That was one of their changes too.
I think I feel like a lot of people that are attacking the Xbox, it's the console war people that want to take PlayStation versus Xbox and make it a war, and it's the PlayStation people that are going hard against Xbox, but like they just increased the price of PlayStation Plus and their premium tiers just a couple months ago too, and PlayStation is not getting nearly the amount of games that Xbox is getting soon. The only thing that I know of that's coming to PlayStation is Astrobot, and that's not going to their subscription service.
No.
So, wouldn't you be more upset with Sony right now? I think I would be if you're a diehard. I don't know. I guess I'm not a diehard. So, I don't know. I've got every system, so
Biggie D, the Bethesda games are on Xbox Game Pass. That's where they're at.
yeah.
Maybe that's
Doom the Dark Ages, bro. Yeah.
Well, we need to sponsor us as Microsoft and Game Pass.
I'm wearing their hat.
Yeah. We could get the Ducks some Microsoft going on. Maybe a little Hasbro, you know.
Sony did have it good for a while. Now you think they can take a break now? No, they got to get more. I think now that they lost their CEO, Phil Ryan, or what's his name?
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan.
No,
yeah,
you're right.
Though they got two new guys heading Sony. One's in charge of the hardware, and one's more in charge of the software now, is what I read. So that software guy better kick it in gear.
Yeah, it was Jim.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Jim Ryan stepped down. But yeah,
enjoy your billion-dollar retirement, bro.
You can give me $50,000. I'll be happy.
Oh yeah, we could buy a whole bunch of Stern pinballs with that.
You can buy like 3.
Yeah,
yeah,
5 maybe.
Right?
Maybe 2. If you're getting a limited edition one, you might as well go all out, right?
Yeah.
But if you charge your neighbors $2 a game.
Good point. But do you really want your neighbors like messing with it, and then your neighbor is going to be the one that breaks it, and then what do?
Kill him.
Gets the ball stuck in a weird spot.
Yeah, I don't know.
First world problems.
Yeah, if you own 5 Stern pinball machines, then yeah, that would probably don't have much room to complain.
No, you don't.
Except that you wasted $50,000 on 5 Stern pinball machines.
But
at some point, I think there would be some buyer's remorse.
Whatever makes you happy inside.
Yeah.
It's when the cost of milk gets up to $15 a gallon. That's when the buyer's remorse kicks in.
That's when it kicks in. Yeah.
Yeah, don't you, Chris? You buy like the 5 dozen eggs at once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's the going rate of that?
Man, prices fluctuate so much.
Do they?
Yeah, like what was it? 2 weeks ago, went to Walmart and it was like $9.99
for 5 dozen.
For 5 dozen, and then
How
today I
do you eat
went
so many eggs?
Platter.
And then went there today, and they're like $16.75 for 5 dozen now. They keep changing, and I'm like, I don't understand it. But there's the chef store over by us, and they've got a sign up that's like, due to Oregon laws, all eggs have to come from like free range chickens now, and so stores can't carry anything. And so it's like, well, that could be the reason why.
Yeah, I don't want to get political, but yeah, no,
that's not political. I
do feel for some of these chickens that are just stuck in a cage all day. I know they're mindless.
Well, they can't play Xbox or PlayStation.
How are they going to sign up for PlayStation Plus? Leaker in Sony, he says Concord's doing a beta this weekend. they sent out beta codes to everyone that has PlayStation Plus. And Jason on Twitter knows that I don't have PlayStation Plus anymore, so he went ahead and sent me a code. But I'm not going to have time to play it this weekend. But I appreciate it, Dark Empire. But yeah, no, if Elite Korean wants to go out and play Concord and report back next week, I'd be interested in hearing your take. So, yeah.
And then you see Ubisoft issued an apology for Assassin's Creed Shadows.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they so they had issued this week a apology on July 8th. They said, notice regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows, we've been notified that in 2 incidents, the Sekigari Teppo Thai flag has been used without permission and publicized concept art for the game. We were given the opportunity to apologize to the group, and they accepted, except for its inclusion in the collector's edition art book. The artwork will not be used or distributed beyond this date. We deeply apologize for this matter. And
what an ugly thing to say.
Now the group is saying that it's not enough, that they want the flag removed from the concept art book.
Because of the implication.
Yeah, implication. And then apparently the Japanese government is now getting involved in looking into Assassin's Creed Shadow too, for their blatant racism, apparently.
The dream is
among
dead.
Other things. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. It's I think Ubisoft might have they should have just released a trailer with just the ninja and left everything else out. That way they don't offend.
Just put a blank screen with the title of the game and just say coming out.
It might have been better for them to do at this point.
Well, we're talking about it, so
yeah. I don't know. And then, of course, everybody knows the Summer Games is coming up here at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the video game?
2 weeks from tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, and apparently they are performing a protest in France where they are going to poop in the river in protest of the Olympics.
All right. Let's go back to video games.
Well, where's my pixel art version of the old Summer Games and Winter Games?
Oh yeah, was it the NES or Super NES?
Well, yeah, and I played it like on IBM PC Junior back in the day. Yeah, that's if we're instead of remaking or reskinning a bunch of old beat 'em ups, they should go ahead and give me some old school sports. Reskin Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How old school do you want to go? So, talking about this earlier, like, what do you guys think is retro now? This is a good topic, I think. Like,
it depends on the age group, right? Because I
20 years ago,
I saw people saying that like Seventh Guest is retro, right? Because the CD-ROMs were something that they haven't been around.
Yeah.
So like that's old school retro to them, right? But for me, it goes back to like floppy disks. That's when things get like retro.
That's retro to you?
Yeah, but that's because that's what I grew up playing, right? So that's what I think of.
Do you think of like the N64 Dreamcast era?
Yeah, I do. But retro. Again, it's because I didn't have access to those things except at my friends' houses because my dad didn't let me play them. So like that gets kind of thrown into that whole like void of what is there. And then I do think PlayStation is retro. Right, and PlayStation 2, I think those things are retro.
Do you remember when PC games, you'd buy a PC game and it come in a box?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they don't have that anymore.
I saw a little tweet from Richard Garriott where somebody was like, I remember when I'd get when games came with, I think it was from the guy who did who's that guy who made Jazz Jackrabbit and like Epic Games, the guy who's big for Epic Games. He did Unreal.
Keyboard Chris.
He's a big name, right, in the industry.
Yeah, he was the one that created Ken Levine.
No, not that guy. Unreal. Why am I forgetting this guy's name? Maybe he made Unreal Tournament?
Oh, I know his name.
LeBron James.
No. Although he might say that he did. And it's not Tim Sweeney either.
Cliff
Who is that?
Bleszinski.
Yeah, that guy. So he tweeted something last week or the week before where it was like, I remember when games came with cloth maps or something. And then Richard Garriott responded with, yeah, I remember putting the cloth maps in the boxes or something like that, or I remember inventing that or whatever, right? Because the old Ultimas, that's, they used to have that. But yeah, I do remember, like, I remember getting a game and actually getting a big thick manual with it. Like if you got a CRPG, right, getting like a thick manual and actually sitting down and reading it after, well, in truth be told, while waiting for the game to load, you'd grab the manual and like read.
Do you remember you'd have to like there'd be a part of the game where you'd have to enter something from the manual?
Well, for the
make
piracy
sure you
stuff,
bought it.
yeah.
Or
the code wheel, right? Like the Commodore 64 used to do the code wheel. Like I think it was Mindscapes or one of those developers was real big on having the spinning wheel. So, if you were to be a broke sixth grader, you might borrow that from your friend and take the little rivet out and photocopy it and then go home and cut all of those little dots, right, or whatever, so that you could then use a metal brad to remake that anti-piracy thing, right? I think Sierra and the adventure game people got smart and they were like, okay, we can't necessarily beat piracy, but what we can do is make games so stupidly hard on one or two puzzles that you have to then go buy a hint guide from us. And so at least recoup $19.99 that way.
That is a good point. Sierra, and there was like LucasArts did some of that too.
Where you'd just be playing a game and you'd be like, I cannot figure this thing out.
And this was before the internet too, so
you
had no choice.
Yeah, so you'd go buy the hint book and it would be some nonsensical inventory item jammed into some nonsensical object, right?
Right.
And there was Earthbound, a Super NES game
that's right.
People had found, like, if they made a copy of the game once you got to the end boss, unless it was legitimate cartridge, you couldn't beat the last boss.
Wow.
Right.
So they had somehow designed it in such a way that it was like impossible to do. Another one that I remember was Serious Sam, I think 3. In order to combat piracy, if you pirated the game, they had set in the code where there was like a enemy that would constantly chase after you and you could never kill it.
Oh, so
it was always there after you. If you were somebody who was just like running through the game, you could possibly beat it with the pirated version, but you'd always have this enemy after you.
I think that for me, retro games, just in my mindset, it would be probably 90s and before. I think is probably in my mind where I kind of go, okay, that's retro, right? But then there's also the aesthetic. Like they can make modern retro styled games, and that. So there's more to it that goes into it when I think of them. It has to do with gameplay, it has to do with the graphic art, and it has to do with the method of the actual gameplay itself, right?
Dathan, what do you think is retro?
Well, I guess with my age and my upbringing with video games, I probably maybe tap out right around probably N64, right around there. I think that to me, that's kind of where it ends for retro, Super Nintendo and then 64. I guess
Dathan, did the Nintendo 64
go ahead.
When did the Nintendo 64 coincide with PlayStation releases?
Well,
like where was that console?
Came out in 95, I think, and then 64 came out in September of 96 is when it first came out.
Okay, so then I think that you and I are pretty in line with where I kind of in my brain draw that, like at about the 90s, right? Like,
I was
so you're saying mid 90 and beyond.
I was never a PlayStation guy, really. I don't even think I had a PlayStation 1 growing up. I think I was just strictly Nintendo. I had a Sega Genesis. But 64, I think, is kind of where I think I pretty much tap out when it comes to retro. I don't think PS2 is retro, really, or GameCube. I know,
GameCube. Yeah, GameCube
today's
felt
generation is
GameCube is retro now, you guys.
Is to some people. To me, it's not.
No, God!
But 64. That's where it ends for me for retro.
How old did Eternal Darkness look? Like, if you look at screen captures and gameplay of Eternal Darkness on GameCube, does that look semi-modern, or does it look really dated? Alone in the Dark looks really dated if you look at like the original Alone in the Dark, right?
As of now?
Yeah, as of now.
I don't
because
think it looks...
my memory doesn't have it looking very dated. Like my memory, I think I'm making it look a lot prettier than it did, right?
Eternal Darkness, yeah, I think it looks a lot. I haven't played it or seen it in a while.
Right. Yeah.
But if I look at a GameCube game now, and I see a good example is Resident Evil 4. That game looks fantastic. And Super Mario Sunshine and Wind Waker, those to me aren't retro. Because there's not a 64 game that has come out that that hasn't been redone in an Unreal Engine like Zelda Ocarina of Time that kind of has that same look that the GameCube does, or between the two. So when I see a GameCube game, I see it looking a whole lot, but not all of them, but the big ones, I see them looking not retro, more of a modern style.
Yeah. Korean, if games are being remastered graphically from a system, it is retro. At least if we remove our own nostalgia from the definition. It's fascinating. And I know your other comment, you're talking about 3 generations back. I think it's coming quicker now. Like, is the Xbox 360 retro? I think that's pretty borderline now with their Microplace shutting down. The end of this month, right?
Yep.
So Cliff Belinsky, I saw that Saiyan Sports got it before we did. I saw it pop up there, or right at about the time that we got it. I always remember that because I don't know if you guys remember that website, Something Awful. And there was the Jeff K character that they had on there, the comedy website from back in the day, and Jeff K was this kid gamer, right? Was the persona behind it, but he'd make these random cartoons that were just horrible that he did in like MS Paint or whatever his animations, and he'd always rip on Cliff Belinsky and he'd always call him Cliffy B in the things. And so whenever I see Cliff Belinsky come up in or however you say his name, wherever he comes up like in an interview or whatever, I just always remember back to that Something Awful Jeff K thing, calling him Cliffy B nonstop.
This was the same guy that did Gears of War, right?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah. Gears of War was a good game, actually. I wasn't big into Unreal, but Gears of War was
probably
good.
his pinnacle then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
There's young interviews of Cliff Blazinski talking, and he's like, I feel like he's like a skateboarder that's just gone crazy. Like, yeah, we'll take the shotgun, we're gonna put it on your back, and you're gonna hose those guys down. You're gonna, it's like, whoa, you're so cool, bro.
Yep, and then he left Epic and created his own group, and it was after Lawbreakers failed that he left the industry.
Oh, is he out of the industry altogether?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After Lawbreakers failed, because that did fail. That I do remember failing.
Yep. He apparently now is actually funding movies.
Oh.
No, God!
I mean, whatever makes you happy,
God,
but
please, no!
I do remember a lot of his stuff growing up. Jackrabbit.
Jackrabbit, yeah.
And Gears of War and all those games that he helped make that were really good. And so, it's disappointing when you lose somebody who's actually like really involved in an industry that you love. But if you hit a certain point where you're just like, people don't like my games anymore, I guess you got to go on move on, do something different.
Yeah, Alicrian, I agree with you. I think that in my mind, that's how I kind of break it down. To me, a lot of it is art style, but then there is also the
that's why I say
gameplay
you can't
aspect
say
of it too.
the art style is you got to throw that out because they're doing the old art style in some of these games. So that's why
I know,
can't
but that's
say
why I just think that they're
it's the art
trying.
style. Yeah.
It's like
I
when
mean,
I see
if you go off art style, I mean, like I was saying,
Yeah.
like Sea of Stars. You know,
Right.
that's a straight up, almost like Chrono Trigger style. Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 for the Switch. It's the same thing. The 16-bit style.
It looks beautiful. Like I'm playing the Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It probably needs to be remastered. Like it's not as crisp as those games, but it still looks good.
Stardew Valley was the one that I got caught in playing, and that one had that art style, but I wouldn't define it as a retro game. Because I mean, even so, in other words, I know that I'm hypocritical in certain things because I look at it as being art style, but then also the way that the game is played. If it plays like an old school game, then that's where I kind of think of it as it's a retro throwback. You know? But not that it's technically retro, right? But I do think that a lot of the games, because they're cheaper to make that way, the Unity engine has made it easy for people to do stuff like this. And so they go and they grab it, and then they're doing like these retro throwback games that are just getting released in droves right now. Doesn't make them retro, just kind of makes them wannabes, is the way that I see a lot of them, right?
And what is the definition of retro? Because when I think retro, I think what retro, the real like what retro is, it's like a cool way to say it's old. Am I right? Like it's just, or what you said, old school. Like it's just old. Like so, what is old? What is an old video game? Like how old do you want to go? Is it a cool old video game? That's
I think it's where Dathan's got it, but everybody's different, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
everyone is
has
different.
their own idea and their own vision of how a retro game or anything is, because if it's a nostalgia thing that coincides with the retro thing, then everyone's going to have their different opinion on it. Someone can say, oh, I remember when the PSP came out. Oh, that was so retro, you know, and that to me, that's not retro at all. But everyone's going to have their own idea and their own vision of what a retro item or, you know, is.
A 20-year-old now, like, what do they think is retro? I think that's a more
I mean, for
topic.
sure. For sure they would look at well, because I was talking with somebody about it. They would look at Xbox as retro. Because I was talking with somebody about it. They're like Xbox 360's games. I'm not, or Xbox 360. Like I'm getting into retro stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That was just a house ago.
Right. Well, and it's, I mean, if you look at the actual definition from the Dictionary of Retro, it's just an imitative of a style, fashion, or design from the recent past.
There you go.
For me, I kind of, when I look at retro,
say that again. Say that again.
It's imitative of a style, fashion, or design from the recent past.
From the recent past, right?
Yeah. So that's the actual definition of it. But for me, retro would be defining it as
that's still a pretty loose definition.
If it's high school, like the length of time it would take to go from child to getting through high school, anything beyond that is retro to me. So once it becomes of legal age, if you want to call it that, then it's a retro.
You can take it. You can,
but
sleep with it. You can take it into your bed. Seems like I should have a sound effect for that. But
it's definitely one of those that you kind of look at and you're like, hey, you know, I remember growing up playing the old GameCube, and somebody's like, what's a GameCube? Like,
well,
Jesus Christ, how old
that console was so short-lived too. It seems, pretty under the radar. So that one's an easy one to pick on.
Yeah, well, another one's the Wii U. Somebody could be like,
I
remember playing the Wii U. But that's one of those odd ones where it's so many people you talk to. It's like, did you have
no one bought it?
Did you have a Wii
U? No one
Why
has.
would
I mean, I
that?
have one, but yeah, no one else bought it.
Why would I have that accessory for the Wii? And it's like, well, it wasn't an accessory; it was a whole new system.
Right.
But so many people thought, because of the marketing and everything, that it was just like, here's the Wii, and then you want to buy the add-on, the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did name it incorrectly. I agree.
And so it's like, it was such a terrible naming scheme for it. But I do have to, you have to give credit to, was it Miyazaki was the CEO of Nintendo at the time? Because when the Wii U failed, instead of him going and saying, hey, we're going to reduce everybody's pay, he said, I'm taking a 50% pay increase because I failed as the leader of the company. This was this was on me for, putting this out and not making sure that it hit what it needed to. And that's
I wouldn't have taken that pay cut.
Oh, we don't get that with a lot of people nowadays, Ryan. There's a lot of CEOs out there that should be taking pay cuts, like the CEO of Boeing.
Well, Andy took a second stab at it though, with the Switch.
Oh,
like it's not like he threw the
Iwata.
baby out with the bathwater in that, right? Like he basically said, no, we can revamp what we have here, and the idea still stands. So we'll make the Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, interesting.
Good topic.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, that's for sure.
And maybe we revisit this topic later on too. So.
Well, and when does a game that's getting recycled back to the original part of like the football and the sports games, when do they break out and become revolutionary? Where do we define like what gets you excited about NCAA football this year versus last year?
The Ducks are really good, and
so just your fandom, right?
Exactly that, and we haven't in 10 years. So,
in which one?
We haven't had it in 10 years. We haven't been able to play it on a modern console.
Well, and I think that might be the bigger thing is that it's
for most people
it's been a while since we've had one of these. Whereas like the Madden games are year
the
after
Madden
year,
ones, every year,
and they're
right?
You don't really get to see a huge jump between games. But if you were to go back and look at Madden from 10 years ago versus Madden now, you see like a big difference.
There is a big difference, right? And it's kind of like, so they iterate on it a bit, like they grow it a bit with each release, but people do get excited about it. Like people get excited about Madden. It's still there. But I kind of wonder, like, when do people say, okay, this has been going, where does it need to take a big jump? Like, when do people start complaining that a series of games or whatnot is just recycling the same thing and it needs something revolutionary to happen?
Whenever
right?
I think whenever people stop buying it, and then the developers.
Yeah, but where is that breaking point? Like, is it different from?
Question.
You know what I mean? Because we do have games. Resident Evil has gone on for, what are we on now for Resident Evil? Like 12 or 13?
Well, they keep remaking the old ones now too.
That's true too, right? So yeah. So it's just interesting to me that that the I don't know. There's just a lot of avenues to go down when of thought as to what gets people excited about gaming. That's an interesting concept in and of itself.
I think if you got a sports title and you are going to release it every year, I'm fine with it. Just make some subtle improvements to the gameplay. Maybe the gameplay is really good, but you can just keep tweaking it and show that you're tweaking it. I'm sick and tired of seeing they show the sports games like NBA. The new NBA game just got announced this week too. It's got the Boston Celtic guy on the cover. No gameplay.
The WNBA player too.
Right. There's no gameplay at all for this game. We're not going to see any gameplay until a week before the game comes out. That's just the way kind of this new college football game is. Like, they don't want to show their cards yet. I don't know. Maybe it's they don't want to tip their hand to their competition, but it really pisses me off. And I don't want them to do live service games with these things either. Just
do
it. and show us that you're making improvements to the game so it's more lifelike, and figure out a way for give us surveys at the end of the game or whatever that did we enjoy the game? What do you think we can make that they should have made better? Was it fun? Was the game fun? That's what it really boils down to. If
I
I'm going
agree
to
with
keep
Lee
game,
Korean on his point though. That actually I agree with a lot.
As a gamer who occasionally played sports games versus a sports fan who played games, I really miss the 2K games time when it was forced competition. Yeah, there is no competition right now.
Right. I actually checked out of Madden and the NCAA stuff when 2K left the picture. Because I think I checked out I checked out the Madden after they left, and then I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I actually did like the 2K games more at the time as well. So I think I might have been a little hurt over the fact that, they were gone or whatever.
Visual Concepts, and when they were owned by Sega,
that's
when
it
was
right.
good.
When they were owned by Sega. That's correct.
That's when it was the best.
Now, but when it comes to redoing a sports game, and this could apply to other genres too, though, like you said that you just want to see something. So a new game mode would you don't actually need a new game mode added, just a little bit of an improvement as to
what they can do.
Right?
What they do in MLB The Show, they can now do. You can do player experiences. They just did one with Derek Jeter, and they're doing stuff with the Negro Leagues, like learning about Satchel Paige and some of these. The guy that just died. Oh God, rest in peace. Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
You could do a whole storyline on Willie Mays and with video. Like they'd never been able to do that kind of stuff before, and you could play through his career and get his first hit, and you could get his catch in the World Series. Like that's the kind of stuff I want.
Well, you're following at that point. You're kind of following WWE 2K24.
Sure,
like legendary matches, legendary moments, stuff like that.
Yeah. Let's see more of that, of that, and have it differentiated from the last game. Something that wasn't in the last game. There's always some kind of storyline in WWE or whatever, some kind of avenue they can go down. And I appreciate the history lesson, and I also appreciate just a new story. So
you know what I liked, and it's a different genre, but going back to the retro thing that I wish that they would do more of. And maybe they do and I just miss it. But like when they redid the Monkey Island games and they did them like director's cuts, right? Where you could go back, play the original, so you could turn off the new graphics, go back, play the original and see how it differed versus what they did on the new one, which wasn't much. And then they had like the director commentary with all of it too. And I think we got all of that for like $20. Which I hadn't played the original Monkey Island games back in the day, so it was cool to go through and play them. But then it was also cool to do the director's commentary and see where the jokes originated from, get all of that stuff. I could see doing that with like the old like Sierra games, or even if Richard Garriott would do it with the Ultima stuff. Might be kind of cool, or those old D&D gold box games that we had back in the day, or even more of the stuff from like the Xbox, like that range where it's maybe not retro to us, but there's probably an entire generation that just hasn't played that stuff. Right. And
they need to do some of that
I missed, right?
They need to do some of that before their hardcore old Xbox gamers like us die off.
Yeah,
we've got the money right now. We will do
it. I just don't.
Good.
If it's good, that's the key. I mean, they could do it with Gears of War. Gears like the original one, right? They could do something like that, and I would probably pick it up and play it again. Even though now, if I had an Xbox, I wouldn't replay it. Like, there's no motivation there for me to go replay it. But if they did something like that, I might be into it. I don't know. It's just it's interesting because they are remaking a lot of games now, it seems, but when I look at most of them, I don't see the value add to it. Like, it's not enough to make me go pick it up necessarily, unless somebody tells me like, hey Travis, you should play Resident Evil 4 because it's one of the best ones, and if you're gonna pick one, that's one you should pick. When people say stuff like that, that's what causes me to go buy it and then actually put it in the backlog to get to someday. And if I remember right, That's what I was told about Resident Evil 4. That was one of those. Like,
Resident Evil 4
if you're
is
going to
my
play
favorite.
one out of the series, you should pick that
It's
one
my
up.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people's. Well, I think it's 50-50 between that or 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got to cut out a little bit early tonight.
No, let's end it.
Yep.
Okay. I will see you all next week. Hopefully, we'll talk about college football. Otherwise, everyone have a great week.
You too.
You too.
Thanks, bro.
Have a good one.
No, let's close it down. Chris, do you have any final thoughts? Did you freeze? No,
nope,
you're still
I'm
good.
still here.
No, he's there.
I'm still here, but I can try and freeze.
Yeah. Everyone go like and subscribe to Asa Jack's Media Grounds on YouTube. Hit this video, give this video a like, consider subscribing if you're not already. I think most of you guys are longtime people anyway, but we do appreciate it. And
I'm also on X or Twitter or
you're on X.
Yeah. So
Elon Musk thanks you.
Yeah. Well, Elon Musk.
Don't buy a
is right.
Cybertruck.
Mars is beautiful.
Yeah.
But it looks like we got quite a bit as gamers to look forward to in the future.
It's going to be a good week this week, and I think that's kind of my main point of this video. Like, it's going to be a good week, and hopefully we'll have more stuff to talk about next week. So we appreciate you guys, and with that,